Okay, here we have Speedster's Star, and I feel like I'm saying that wrong, and I apologize. And he's by, and I'm going to say the sire's name wrong also, Speedster. So apologies for butchering that. But anyway, we're just going to call him Star from here on out. And this is a very chunky, round, 16 hand 4-year-old thoroughbred gelding. And he actually only has one career start, and it's from August of last year, so August of 2024. And so you might be saying, well, what's he been doing for the last year? Well, for the last year, he actually has been on the track and training, and he has about a dozen published works, literally spanning from January of this year until last month in August, right before I got him, basically. So I think he just wasn't training productively enough to justify racing him, but he has been in training all year, and you can look back and see a whole bunch of published work spanning the entire year, basically. So he wasn't really showing any promise. So here he is, ready to find his next career. This is his second ride. I actually no, I shouldn't say that. This is his third ride. I sat on him on Friday for the first time. Then we had a technological malfunction. I lost everything we did that day. That was on my camera's chip. And then Billy was away over the weekend, but I sat on him again on Sunday, and he was excellent on Sunday. So I was really looking forward to this ride today and having Billy here to take some video because I knew he was going to come out really, really nicely because he was so good the day before. So my little critique here is that when I started watching this back, obviously he's a horse who wants to be very round. It's taking very little from me. There's not a lot of weight in your hand to get this horse round. And so at times here, I like his frame. There's some moments I think when he dips a little behind the vertical, and I actually didn't really realize that that was happening. He's already in the Hermspringer Duo, which is a super soft bit. So I just need to be more aware of that he is so soft that he will come a little bit behind vertical. But for the most part, like right here, I'm happy with this frame here. This is quite good. So, like the vast majority of these guys, he finds the left the easier direction to go right now compared to the right. So, of course, that's the way we start. And he really gave me some beautiful work. I mean, I thought it felt really cute, and then when I went back and looked at the pictures and the video, I thought it looked a little better than cute. He's quite gorgeous. He makes a beautiful shape. Not a huge moving horse, but just cute enough. Just cute enough and steady enough to score really well. Honestly, they don't have to be huge, moving, extravagant horses to score well. They just have to be steady and correct. He's also a very quiet ride. You'll see that I've got my little spurs on. I'm carrying a stick. The first time I sat on him, I had a hard time really getting him going anywhere because he's super quiet. So he needs a bit of encouragement to move along and come forward. And there's nothing wrong with that. So in the left canter, he actually really got this quite nicely. When we first popped into the canter, it just took me a little bit to get him. He wants me to be in half seat, which I understand, but in half seat, I can't quite get behind him enough and push him forward to get him connected. So I sort of needed him to accept my seat a little bit. And so it took me once or twice around the ring, but he actually got it quite nicely. Gave me some really good bits. I lost it there around that corner, but then here, that's quite nice. I'm happy with that. Felt great. Looks very cute. Excuse me. Yeah, that was really good. I was quite pleased with that. Good boy, Star. So one thing that I try and do with most of my horses, but especially the really sort of easygoing ones like him, because he's not flustered by much, is I just start whatever I have set up in my ring, that they can just walk over. And I have this set up for my personal horses. There's just some canter cavalettis, but anybody can just walk through those things. And these are some trot poles. So again, any horse, it doesn't matter how green they are, can start learning to walk straight through any sort of pole exercise. So that's just what I do when we're taking walk breaks. And he was super good, really brave, didn't give anything a second thought. And then the other thing that's going on in this ride is that my dogs are out, my blue tick and my basset hound. And if you go back and watch this and you pay attention to what's going on just outside the ring, there's Annie. You'll see that for the large majority of the ride, they're sort of terrorizing us, stalking us around the perimeter of the ring. And that really sort of spooks some horses, and I don't blame them. But he's a chill horse, so for him, that was just no big deal. So when we started to the right, I thought he gave me a couple moments where he dipped behind the vertical. But then as we came around that corner there, that was better. And this is better. This is actually really cute. It's pretty incredible, really. I mean, this is his third time I've sat on him and just how steady he is in the contact. So this is his slightly more challenging direction. So here he's just a little bit below, behind the frame, a little bit hiding. There we go. So then I get him to correct and come up and he overcorrects, but that's okay. Of course they're gonna, he doesn't understand everything yet. All that matters is that he tried to answer the question, which was that I wanted him to lift his pole and stick out his nose, and he did it. And then here we go again. This is quite nice. And again, he's just totally ignoring Annie, who's stalking us around the ring. Actually, that's how I broke my hand over the winter. I was riding a horse who was not quite as chill as this horse. And Annie came around the corner of the hay barn and came down the long side there, stalking the edge of the ring. And the horse just wasn't quite prepared for that and spun pretty quickly, and I was on the ground. Yep, and there's Gussie. And this is good here. I like this frame. Okay, so the right canter. Before we started, we picked up the canter here over some poles and a flower box, which is actually really cute, and he did a really good job. Very nice transition. Before I cued in to figure out that we should get it over the poles, he will pick up the right canter. The transition's not the problem, but he just wants to pretzel a little bit in the right canter for whatever reason. He just wants to get a little bit crooked. And so with that crookedness, the problem I was having was he would pick up the right canter, and then at some point he would pretzel, I would lose a shoulder, and then he would just swap to the left. And he does a really beautiful, easy change to the left, which was making it quite hard for me to prevent him from doing that. But of course, really, it's just about getting him straight. So here, obviously, he's not straight. This is some pretzeling through his neck, and he's leaning on his right shoulder, which is less obvious from the video, but that's what I was feeling. And so at this point, I remember in the ride, I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this any better today. Like, this might be as good as it's going to get. And then I thought, well, I'll just give it one more minute. We'll just see. Maybe maybe he just needs a couple more moments of think time. And so right about here, he just clicks. He just gets it. He's like, oh, it is so much easier if I just keep my neck and my head straight. It feels so much better. And so then we went around a couple of times really nicely like that. There we go. That's quite nice. He's got it back. Yeah, so I was really happy that he figured that out. He ended on a really good note there with that right canter. And so then here at the end of the video, we've just got about a minute of him on cross ties. Very, very chill. Easy to get along with horse on the ground. Very cute.